So welcome back to my YouTube channel. Another video a couple of weeks later. As I said in the last video, it was going to be sporadic and it wasn't going to be sort of like regimented as what it was. Today I am training push, and so far I'm actually enjoying my push sessions, which is the first time for quite a while, I must be honest. I have to hide the branding on this shaker because it's not applied nutrition branding, so I probably will get into trouble. Today is quite a decent session, probably my favourite push session of the week, to be fair. Started as you saw on the Cybex dual cable, not sure of the name of the machine. Doing standing flies only because the pec deck was in use. Currently on the Nitram incline press, where I'm one warm-up set away from my top set. Then it's onto shoulders, triceps and so on. I'm going to take you through, show you what it is I'm doing. I'm not going to waffle on and talk too much shit in this one. I don't think it's particularly worth it. Maybe I might do on a couple of the Nautilus pieces I've got included, reasons why I'm using them, reasons why I'm glad that I'm using them, which I'll go into in a second, and just why they're very good machines. So currently got North Lane playing on my headphones to get me set into the session, but so far, you know, training's going really well, especially being in a new environment, as you've seen in my last few videos, tail end of prep and whatever. Starting in here, it's been a godsend. I really can't put that message across enough. Like, training in here, fresh environment, some very good and old pieces of kit, which work really well, and it's kind of a testament to the growth that I've found so far. So far I think we're nine weeks post-show, I think it's 9 weeks. 9 weeks post-show, 9 weeks into a health phase, running bloods next week. So hopefully, if this old rig's playing ball, we'll get the green light to then push on. 9 weeks, 10 weeks is a bit long for our health phase, but then it's pretty standard coming out the back of show season because, you know, certain things being in play, it's necessary just to make sure that everything's good. But everything's all been up to scratch with health protocol, cardio, steps, output, food. So fingers crossed we can send it and see some serious growth. But we're already miles ahead on where we were last year when I very first started working with Ewan, and it means we're in a good position going forwards into the new year, which is only, what, 3 weeks away until we're in 2026. 32nd birthday this Sunday. So yeah, time's flying. It seemed as though I only started prep yesterday, but we're already at the tail end of the year and already considering things going into next season as well. So I'm going to stop talking shit. I'm going to get this next warm-up set done, get straight into my working set, and then get cracking with the rest of the session. So far as like a top set goes, that was actually pretty good. Managed to increase the weight, I think, on last week. Somehow I've managed to leave my logbook at home, so I'm literally just fucking winging numbers at this point. But it just shows I need to kind of remove the attachment for the logbook. Not that I've been like, I must hit numbers every single week. I've already left it at home and it's fucked me a little bit, I won't even lie. Back off now, drop 5 kilo off per side. With this Nitram press, you've got the ability to use it bilaterally, which means you can use either side at a time, essentially like a dumbbell press, or there's a bar that goes across the back. which links it all in one, makes it more like an incline bench. I've got the bar through it because I feel as though it makes it a little bit harder and a little bit heavier. So I've got 17 and a half either side. I don't care what anybody says, you cannot go fucking heavy on this machine. Like, I mean, it seems pretty light for what I'm able to lift, but you know, it's a bit of a reality check, shall we say. So I'm really happy with that top set just then. I think I hit that for 9, maybe 10, I'm not sure. I usually cut the clips anyway, so nobody can count the reps. We'll go fucking 9, we'll be modest. Gonna try and take this for at least 10, hopefully 11, and then it's on to the Nautilus shoulder press. So yeah, I'm gonna get after this, see how many we can take it for, and batter some shoulders. So just moved over to the Nautilus shoulder press. Very good piece of kit. Used this for the first time, I think during one of my pump sessions, one peak week, which again, seems like a distant memory. Probably looking at this machine thinking, well, where do you start? Because you've got these angled handles here, you've got these ones here. Which ones do you go for? For me personally, I prefer to use this handle because it means I can hit right into my front delt absolutely perfectly. It means that I'm actually managing to drive my elbow up and through rather than coming with my elbows out to the side, where it tends to hit a bit of tricep and a bit of side delt, which can be a bit painful. As I've said for years anyway, my shoulders are pretty dodgy, so I have to kind of be careful what I do pressing wise. I think it was Saturday session, somehow whilst training back, managed to upset my shoulders and they were really sore for a couple of hours. So just kind of have to tread carefully, but then, you know, me being me, I do like to put the weight on and just full send it. So currently I'm just doing a feeler set before upping the weight. Not sure weight wise just yet. We'll see how this kind of feels to begin with, and then push it out from here. With these Nautilus pieces, if you can find them, well worth trying. So half how that felt, I think that was my top set last week, 57 for 11, I think I got off the top of my head. Just upped it to 64 for this top set. And probably back off somewhere around 50. Like over the last couple of weeks, like since going through this reverse, like I've shortened the gap between my top set and my back off set. I used to do about 25-30%. Now it's probably somewhere between 20 to 25%. And it means I can really push that intensity and keep those sets fully locked in. And this kind of sounds backwards in terms of what I do top set and back off set wise. Top set is always as nailed in as possible. Execution is on point. When I go for the back off set, I'm not too concerned in terms of how strict the reps are and the tempo, purely because I've just toasted whatever muscle group it is, whether it's chest, shoulders, back, fucking arms. I can then push those 12 reps out. Don't get me wrong, I'm not repping it out dead quick reps. Is I'm not necessarily utilizing that pause in the stretch and the pause in the contraction. I'm just kind of working my way through it, and I can generally tell because I'm still hitting the point of failure. And I've been doing that the last 9 weeks, so why am I going to change it? But anyway, it's time to send this top set and see if it doesn't hurt my shoulders. Pending copyright infringement on YouTube, but this tune in the background is a bit of a banger, but not as good as what I've got on my headphones at the moment, so here goes. So far as top sets go, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Normally mentally when I'm going through these sets is I'm almost going through like a subconscious checklist of, am I feeling it where I should be? In this case, front delt, tick, yes. Am I feeling it in my triceps? Kind of. Is there anything I can do? Yes, fall short or lockout. If I feel it anywhere else and the pain kind of goes from like a 1, which is like there, noticeable, doesn't really matter too much, to like maybe an 8, like shit, that's starting to hurt. If it gets to an 8, I generally back off and either bin the set or rest for a second and then go again. But so far as that's concerned, I'm happy with that. I think it's up on weight from last week. Felt it in the right area, no tricep burnout, nothing in my forearms, nothing in my wrists or anywhere it shouldn't have been. So really that's 3 or 4 fucking green ticks in boxes. So I can't really ask for any more than that. Onto the back off set now, as I say, drop into 50 for somewhere, hopefully, between 10 and 12. Hopefully it's not gonna make me look too much of a dick if I fail at 6, but you know, hopefully with a bit of extra food over the weekend, it's gonna help, but we shall see. I think. I can't count for shit. So definitely must be a fucking personal trainer. Just throwing that out there. Lost my train of thought on what I was going to say. That's right. What I was going to say is when you're watching these clips, you may be thinking, oh, well, you're not pushing to like real failure. I'm looking for muscular failure, not mechanical failure. Muscular failure is where you cannot grind out another rep, not necessarily meaning you cannot move the bar, but for me, it's kind of a hybrid of the two. So yes, to me, I'm hitting failure. And really, I'm still getting growth out of it. I'm still seeing change. So that's all that matters. It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks, you know, you're not hitting failure. Might seem like I'm not to you, but to me I am. Or because I'm not going for them real hardcore fucking 1960s, 1990s reps. Doesn't mean that I'm not hitting failure. So yes, I am. So this is one machine that I always look forward to using on my push days. And I absolutely love this machine because you get a nice stretch. As you can see, this is the widest point that it opens out where the handles are sat here. And as you come forwards, you get a nice squeeze on the chest as well, and it feels fucking incredible. It's almost like you go through a full week of eating on-plan food and then you get that taste of pizza on a Saturday night. That like, oh my God, it's that sort of feeling. I'm not going to push it any further than that because it's not my style. But no, this Nautilus chest press is really good. I've not really trained in many gyms that have this particular machine. Use the plate-loaded version, but in my opinion, it's not quite so great. For me personally, I go with the handles that are sort of like in level with the midline of the chest. I go with these ones here, and some people even use the vertical handles, which is absolutely fine. It's personal preference. I just find with how I've got the back of the seat sat, the base of the seat is good enough that it's not going to hit my front delt. It's not going to punish my triceps too much. I get a little bit, but not a huge amount. Just playing with the adjustments has really helped. So don't think I'm going to play around with this too much. Probably do one feeler and then straight into top set, then back off. And that's the other thing. The one thing on my training at the moment is a lot of the movements I do is one top set, one back off set for everything. Most of my exercises are one set of 8 to 10, one set of 10 to 12. There's very few where I've got 2 sets because the volume of these sessions right now is perfect for me and what I need to get out of them. We're not really in a point right now to be pushing intensifiers, rest pauses, cluster sets, muscle rounds, all that sort of thing. We're not in that position to do that right now because we're obviously focusing on health and recovery. If we're punishing the training too much, it will reflect badly in terms of blood work. And we're still kind of working on the side of making sure recovery is in a good point, which it has been for a good few weeks now. So yeah, it may seem boring to most, but at the end of the day, I'm still able to get the most out of those sets. And I think this chest session, in fact, is only 6 working sets, which isn't a huge amount. I think it takes it to probably about 12 over the course of the week. And then only 6 sets for quads, which is mad because they grow like fuck. But anyway, time to get into this warm-up set, feeler set, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and then get to work. So that felt pretty nice. Dropping this back off set from 71 to 57. So that's what, 14 kilo drop, quick maths. Nice modest drop. Still particularly heavy, still carry the intensity. I'm kind of working on being on the lower end of the rep range. So just aiming to hit 10 rather than aiming to hit 12. Obviously still aiming to hit 12, but just going in with the modest thought of this is the numbers that I want to hit. So just kind of keeping that emphasis all the way through. But right now, I think I probably only have got this last set in me for chest. And then yeah, it's on to lat raises, tricep dip, and rope extensions. And then that is the session done. Fuck me.
This is the DJ.
Dancing, fashion, dancing, fashion, dancing, fashion, round, started rap, dancing, rapping, dancing, rapping, dancing, rapping, round, started dropping, dancing, fashion, the round, started rap, started moving weight, started trapping, getting on the new, taking a nap. I'm a proper hood, nap. MJ on my feet, I'm moonwalking. Hit him up, Biggie Pac, who shot? Slam dunk, Judas Urban, I'm the doctor. That's the scientist, this my laboratory. Fashion lore, closet look like a horror story. Money stacked up like the pyramids. If I die, I'm going out like the pharaohs did. Draped in all gold, call me King Tut. Ric Flair draped up when I do my strut. Always tiptoeing, feet taped up. I be that pretty mo, no makeup. Dancing, fashion, dancing, fashion, dancing, fashion, round, started rap, dancing, rapping, dancing, rapping, dancing, rapping, round, started dropping, about to get it bouncing like a 6'4", real, so I had to let it go, snagging yayo, call me Curtis Blow, stash it in the, call it camel toe, the 5-0, get your money up, on the block selling rocks, middle finger up, I be rapping, I be trapping, I be shooting up, small shirt, tiny pants, but I shoot you up, backwood blowing cookies, I be zooted too, try slow, he'll get you, he'll shoot it too, can't with you suckers, yo, with the boys in blue, but they bleed like me, so I shoot them too, lay you down, lay you down, lay you down, real king stand up, never kneel down, I be rapping, I be jumping, I don't look around, like Pac, let them know how I get around, dancing, fashion, dancing, fashion, dancing, fashion, round, started rap, dancing, rapping, dancing, rapping, dancing.
So I'm just moving on to, this shows the joys of having a camera and fuck knows what other shit with me. So I'm just moving on to the tricep section of this session. I think I'm just going to use the cables, to be honest with you. Just jumped on the Watson lat raise and felt pretty decent, to be honest. Decided to go single arm and it felt pretty decent. So I'm going to do rope extensions, or rope pushdowns, however you want to refer to them as. Going to do one set, one back off of rope pushdowns, and then I'm probably going to jump onto a closed cable stack and then do tricep crossovers. Just 2 movements that generally work pretty well for me. I'm not even sure what the time is. I don't really care, to be honest. Get this session done, head outside for a vape, eat, and then probably go and pick Emma up. So yeah, I'm going to get into this next movement.
Wait a second.
Long dick. She get the dropping like some dead fly. Baby girl just to kill, she so dead fly. You be on top of your shit, you so dead fly. If anybody tell you different, they a damn lie. Asking why they lying. On the gram spine, never full, but you know they got some time for you. Since you came up, they act like they down for you. Let me be the first one to say I'm proud. Get your money, girl, get your money. I ain't mad at your broke hoes. Same ones that used to laugh at you. Since you hit the gym, I see you got your ass fatter. If I didn't have a bitch, I would've took a stab at you. Got her own house, own car, drive her own shit, long cash. She just looking for some long dick, beat face. Fleek on her every day at a week base. Now my brows, girl, I can see it all in the freak face. Hold up, she humble but walk with her nose up. And I growed a little interest there since you growed up. And I know a couple bitches who noticed your pro up. They was talking about that picture with the caption glowed up. I'm trying to motivate you, I'm trying to geek your head up. Ain't talking penetration, but baby keep the head up. Cause if you don't, the crown slips. And after that, you know what, you can call me. We can say fuck 'em and go get some more bucks, baby.
So that is the session done and dusted, as I like to say. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that. As I mentioned earlier on, leaving my logbook at home wasn't particularly ideal, but sometimes it's nice just to have these sessions where you just don't really follow any particular numbers, which is always the aim. So food is in the microwave, just waiting for that to ding, post-workout meal, so I'm going to get that in a second. And I was supposed to have 100 grams of pineapple with it, but you probably can't see. You might be able to, you probably can't see, but there's a bit of pineapple in there that looks a bit ropey because it's been in there for a couple of days. So I ain't gonna risk that shit, even though it's pineapple. It's not gonna give me food poisoning. I'm not gonna risk it. So when I get home, I will add pineapple to my next meal. I was sort of very conscious that my appetite isn't amazing right now. I'm not feeling particularly hungry, and after most sessions, I'm generally not. My appetite hasn't been the best post-workout, but sometimes it happens. More often than not happens like post-leg session. It's just how it goes, just with the feels and all that. Yeah, I've not really got much to report in the sense of how things are going, aside from the fact that I am sitting 21 pounds heavier than stage weight. I was 170 at British Finals. I'm now sat at 191, which is pretty fucking sick. If you've not been on my Instagram and seen the recent pictures that my coach Ewan shared, what I've been sharing in my stories, then head over and have a look and see how we're looking. There's a side-by-side comparison. You know, I'll drop it here somewhere. There's a side-by-side comparison of this point last year, 10 pounds lighter, but arguably in a bit of a worse position than I am now. Being able to retain this shape and size post-show is massive, and it's something we're aiming to carry through the off-season. So hopefully it means that we may not need a full year's off-season next year, and we may get away with going from next week, fingers crossed, bloods come back okay, going from next week until May sort of time, May, June sort of time before dropping into prep. Probably be looking at June if I can hold this composition. But that's obviously providing that everything's all as it should be in terms of cardio, steps, training. Health's obviously in a good spot. Body fat doesn't go up too much, which it isn't at the moment. It seems to be responding quite nicely. And it just means we'll be able to kind of push on pretty nicely and drop into a nice, gradual but kind of fast-paced prep, if there's such a thing, which, you know, I'm absolutely in for. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my post-workout meal eaten, see how we're doing for time. It is currently 2 o'clock, due to pick Emma up at about 3-ish. So probably going to have to leave here at about 2:45. So I may well eat this meal and then jump on a treadmill and get some steps in, as I'm pretty happy with where I'm at in terms of like the work I've got done today, in terms of the session. It's just a case of eat, pick Emma up from work, get home, believe it or not, eat again, get a few bits done around the house, then eat again, and then chill out for the rest of the evening. So that's generally how things go for me at the moment. So this meal, 220 grams of rice, 190 grams of chicken. There should have been 100 grams of pineapple going with that, but as I say, pineapple is fucked. And then that is also doubled up with glycotank as well. Just post-workout GDAs, just to funnel their food in. And also got a bit of fluid to get through as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. In a better headspace, even though I've got Accutane in at the moment to clear my skin, which is fucking with my head a little bit. But yeah, tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a bit more detail. I'm going to get this food eaten. I'll go into a bit of detail about the Accutane and that, and we'll go from there. So I believe Emma cooked this chicken yesterday, and it smells like salt and pepper chicken, which is my favourite flavour at the moment. Seasoning of which you can get from Aldi, which is even better. I've just burnt the fuck out of my finger getting this out of the microwave, so it's absolutely molten. So it's probably going to take me a sweet minute to eat this. Not too bad. But yeah, give me 5 and I'll go into detail. So that's the post-workout meal in and eaten. The chicken had dried out a little bit too much, my liking, in the microwave, but you know what, being bodybuilder and shit, you'll eat anything that's got protein in it. But anyway, as you may have seen and as I mentioned, I've been using Accutane to try and clear my skin as it's flared up quite badly. Sorry, I've got fucking fluff all in my hair. As my skin's flared up quite badly going through this health phase. Now, a lot of people would be saying, oh, you know, you need to get your health markers checked, like things can be dangerous and blah, 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 blah. I've had it all in the past, and to be honest, it's just people talking a load of bollocks. I'm not concerned. Ewan's obviously not concerned. It's being monitored, and you know, I'm still getting in the necessary health stack to make sure that everything's all covered, and it's going to help things settle back to normal before having bloods pulled next week. And you know, as is pretty standard going through a health phase. Reason why I included Accutane is because as a kid, it's about 5 years ago now, during COVID, just as COVID started, I was taking Accutane, and it got to a point where it was awful. Like, it's an awful drug to take. It's designed to obviously help clear your skin up, but then it can also really fuck with your psyche a little bit as well, which isn't ideal. So what I've done these last couple of weeks is I've gone in with the emphasis of trying to get the maximum out of the bare minimum. So I'm not quite up to the dosage where I could be just yet, as it's all rated purely off of like height, body weight and age and that sort of thing, and a few other factors. So for the first week I was running 10 milligram a day, which is taken first thing in the morning with my first meal, because it can make you quite nauseous if you take it on an empty stomach. I think I can remember previously it contributing to some horrible like vomiting and that sort of thing. It's not very nice. Then the next week I then upped it to 20 milligrams, I think for at least a week, and then upped it again to 30 milligrams a week for the last 2 weeks, and that's where I've noticed the most amount of change. Now, I don't really want to up it to 40 if I can help it. I could probably push it to sort of like 40, 50 milligram a day. But yesterday was probably the worst day that I've had on it, where I woke up and I was in a bit of a slump, I won't lie. Wasn't feeling particularly great, head was all over the place, staring into space. Generally had them, like, I guess you could say them Sunday feels, which, you know, because I'm self-employed, I shouldn't really get it because I'm working for myself. I'm not having to go back into an office or go to work in a yard full of wankers. Like, it got to the point yesterday where I was a little bit spaced. We went out for the day and it kind of cleared my head a little bit, sort of hitting some steps and stuff. But as myself and Emma dropped the dog home after taking her out for a walk, went to Lidl to do our shopping, which is generally where we shop now because we don't actually mind it too much. And I got into Lidl and I just had this really overwhelming sense come over me, and I had to get Emma to shield me away from other people, because I was stood and I could feel myself welling up, and it was getting progressively worse and worse and worse and worse, and then I was just in fucking floods of tears. And it's the sort of shit that drug can do to you, which is one thing a lot of people don't sort of take into account, is how potent it is, how much it can mess with your head, and how much it can swing your mood around like a rag doll. it sounds a bit weird saying that I'm taking this and I'm going to carry on taking it because of that fact. But I want to take it because at the end of the day, like right now, even wearing sort of like oversized t-shirts as I'm wearing now, new oversized Gymshark fit, oversized hoodie, be wearing joggers a lot of the time because it is cold, obviously being winter. It's making me dead self-conscious. Feeling self-conscious in baggy clothing isn't great. But then having said that, because I've been sort of like working the dosages out, I've been titrating it up over a course of weeks, I've got another period of time to kind of play with before I should really look at coming off it. I'm really getting the benefit out of it, which is obviously what I wanted. It's starting to clear my skin. It's made my skin really dry, and it's actually making somewhat of a difference. Don't get me wrong, like my skin is really itchy, and it's got to the stage where I took it before and I was seeing a great deal of benefit from it because I wasn't working, I wasn't able to go to the gym, so I wasn't getting sweaty or anything like that. I was showering twice a day. I was doing a lot of walking, drinking a lot of water, and generally staying pretty active, so it could be looked after. Now it's completely the opposite because I still wanted to eat, train, and do whatever else. So I'm going to try and see this through for as long as I possibly can. I think I'm coming up to about 4 weeks. It's either 4 or 5 weeks that I've been on it now, and I'm willing to kind of see it through, which sounds like a long time, for at least the next 8 weeks, the next 7 or 8 weeks, which will bring it to 12. If it has cleared up completely, I'm gonna have to stay on it again for another like 4 to 6 weeks, just for it to completely fuck off. And then I shouldn't see any problems from there, because at the end of the day, like, I can deal with the scarring in my skin. I've been used to that all the way through, and it's just how angry my skin is right now that I cannot face for much longer. So if there is anybody out there that's watching this, that's considering using this course of treatment, please feel free to drop me a message and fire me any questions. I'll be more than happy to have a chat and, you know, kind of go through how it works, things to look for, things that you should be aware of, and the norms and that sort of thing. But just wanted to add something a little bit more real in here, because I feel as though right now there's too many people on social media, on Instagram, whatever, being fake as fuck, not being honest about how they feel, and, you know, kind of going through they're just going through the motions. They're not being honest with how they feel, which can make you feel worse. So I generally aim to make this as real and as authentic and as honest as possible. So without further ado, I've got a lot of shit on the table in front of me that I need to get packed away. I need to start making my way across to meet Emma in a second and go from there. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about anything that's been included in this, please feel free to drop in the comments and I'll come straight back to you. But don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share with your friends, and just be nice. I will catch you in the next one, which will be next week when I go and have my bloods done. So I'll catch you in the next vlog.